When comparing Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, you can find some pretty interesting things. But with that being said, let's take a deeper dive into some interesting comparisons. You may have thought monuments are a new thing to Tears of the Kingdom, but if you go to Breath of the Wild to this exact location, you can find monuments at the water fountain. And the cool thing is, these have alien text on it, so that means you could technically translate this, so subscribe if you want to see a video on that. The shacks attached to the Hateno village houses have a small change between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That being the way that the doors open in Tears of the Kingdom. And by open, like, as in it's not built to be shut. Make sure to comment if you know why they changed this, or have an idea. Did you know that this is the tallest Sheikah Tower in Breath of the Wild? Okay, hear me out. You see, Tears of the Kingdom kind of confirms this because right where the Sheikah Tower is where there's a chasm. And because this is where the Sheikah Tower was, that means it would have to go all the way down to the bottom of the chasm, all the way into the depths, making it the tallest Sheikah Tower. Recall is a pretty useful ability, and it's also useful in Breath of the Wild, because you can recall memories in Breath of the Wild. And you may be wondering what this has to do with memories. Well, in Tears of the Kingdom, you have to use the recall ability in order to view the Zelda memories. So at this point, I think it's pretty well known that the Yiga clan made a replica of the Thunder Helm. But the real Thunder Helm is thought to be a fake. You see, when going in Breath of the Wild, the NPCs will say that it's a replica. Meanwhile, in Tears of the Kingdom, they'll be convinced that it's real. It's almost like the Yiga clan did a better job. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't offer as much stamina as Breath of the Wild, because unlike in Tears of the Kingdom, you can get a max of 10 spurs. While this is not a breakthrough, the fact that Mipha's Court's pond makes a Zora symbol is pretty cool. Now let's take a bit closer of a look between the chasms in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. When exploring Hyrule, you may come across lots of chasms, specifically in Tears of the Kingdom. But technically there are chasms in Breath of the Wild. Starting off, we can find the Yiga clan chasm, which in Breath of the Wild, it doesn't really seem to be much of a chasm, but technically it is because you still void out. Which in Tears of the Kingdom, you most definitely void out into the depths. As mentioned previously in the video, the Skyview Tower is the tallest tower in Breath of the Wild, but it also houses a chasm, which is in both games. The next chasm in Breath of the Wild, however, is Death Mountain, which is mostly because of its great height, which allows Link to then fall at such a high distance that, well, he voids out. And the interesting part is that the chasm actually starts just at that spot where Link would normally void out in Breath of the Wild. The last one, however, isn't really a chasm in Breath of the Wild, just in Tears of the Kingdom, but it's still a interesting and unique one because it's not a natural, like one caused by Ganon kind of one that was built by the Zonai. But while these are technically chasms in Breath of the Wild, it's not really labeled as a chasm. It's just more of like a coincidence slash more relatable. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, I hope you like the one that appears on screen for you to enjoy.